Hare Krishna. Welcome to the lockdown program with Krishna under the umbrella of Govardhan Hill. Today we are reading and discussing the most beautiful Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Praveen Bhai, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just 5 minutes. I'm working.
You're always working. You're working very hard.
I'm on my break right now. I only got 5 minutes left. Yeah, just a quick Haribol.
Okay, that is very kind of you, a quick Haribol. How are you? Are you keeping safe?
Yes, still in spiritual life. Yes.
Yes. Are you chanting?
Yes.
Are you reading?
No, I'm not very good at reading.
You're not good at reading. Are you eating prasadam?
Eating prasadam? No.
No, that's very important. What can be offered to Krishna? Are you fully vegetarian?
Yeah.
So you just offer it whatever you have prepared, and just with a Hare Krishna mantra.
Yeah,
just say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, but the wife puts onions and garlic in the food.
Oh, you cannot ask her to put it in afterwards?
No.
Oh, so she won't listen to you.
I'll have to come to the temple to eat prasadam. Have some ready for me.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you for popping in. We hope we'll see you sometime a little bit longer. That would be great.
Okay then.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Rashmi, welcome. Are you well?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
How is your chanting going?
It's good. I'm doing it every day.
That is very good. Every single day you do your minimum.
Yeah, I do every single day.
And you double it.
That I cannot do like that. I have to take slow steps because...
Okay, can you take one more?
I've already done that. I'm now on 6.
You on 6? Woo! That is beautiful. I thought you were on 3. I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that. You're on 6. Okay, I'm very happy. Take it step by step. When did you go on 6?
I did. I went from 3 to 4. I don't know how. 4 to 5 I went because I wanted. My father is not keeping well, so he cannot chant. Some days he is so depressed and all of that he does not even want to read Bhagavad Gita with me. So I decided that one round I will chant on his behalf.
That's very nice.
Then what happened? 1 week, my hospital was so busy, I could not. I missed 1 whole days of chanting. So I had to make up the next week. Every day one extra.
Yes,
then that 5 became 6. Then I thought, now I won't go back. I'll just stay at 6.
Excellent. Very well. You tricked your own mind.
Probably.
Yes, no, definitely. So mere sense of heart. Yes. Okay. Rashmi, get ready for a little bit of Kirtan with harmonium or without.
No, Prabhuji, let Varshana Mataji do that. I will definitely try. Prabhuji, it's really very
you said last time, and you said before, and you said before.
Prabhuji, very soon, I will, you know what, I think my hospital work is going, I will get 1 extra day at home. Because I've just had a phone call to say hospital is full. So I will have to sit at home for 1 day maybe, if they don't want me there. So that if that happens, by next week I will know. Then I will be able to spend some time. I'm actually not getting time. Because how can I not do my rounds? My rounds only takes me 1 hour.
1 hour for 6 rounds?
Yeah, more than that. Very rarely, but 1 hour I finish 6 rounds.
4 rounds. 6 rounds should take 45 minutes. 1 hour. Okay, maybe. Okay, so we're asking Varshana Mataji, first of all, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Haribol, I think we need to catch Dr. Rashmi because she didn't tell us something. Saturday 16th was her birthday.
Oh no, I should have said
Yes.
in my...
So she won't get a cake, but she'll have to sing something for us today.
16.
I would have sang if
Yes,
the
it's
cake
in
was
my
there.
diary and I overlooked that. Okay,
Vasunti
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna to you.
Vasunti Mataji, how you're asking me to sing without a birthday cake? That's not
Very
allowed.
good.
So you supply
Okay.
the cake first.
So let's make a cake. Okay. Hare Krishna. So, let's do a little bit of Kirtan. Vaishana Mataji, how is that? Can you do a bit of Kirtan?
Okay.
Jai Radha Madhava would be nice.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Okay, the microphone is all yours.
Thank you. Oops. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvardhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol.
Jai Hare Krishna, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi. Thank you very much. Welcome, Ben. Welcome, Dharm, Chayanti Bai. Welcome, Rashmi Zamir and Vaishana Kishori Mataji. Hare Krishna. Again, another lockdown session on a Wednesday. Thank you for coming, for popping in, and we'll discuss Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in a moment. I just have two small things to share. I was speaking with some gentlemen the other day, and I was speaking Bhagavad Gita and chanting Hare Krishna, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and the gentleman said, I'm all right. I'm all right. Don't have any problem? No, I have no problems. I'm all right. So, shall I tell him? And I said, well, what about the future? You may be all right now. By tomorrow, he said, no, I will be all right. I'm all right. And I said to him, when the vaccination, COVID vaccination is coming around, will you take it? Oh, yeah, definitely. So, why? Because I don't want to get sick. But you're not sick now. Yeah, but in the future, I may tomorrow or after tomorrow, I might get the virus. So I said to him, you see, studying Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is just like a COVID vaccination. Now you're all right, but tomorrow you may not be all right. Then he understood it. So then he understood. So that is, our study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is just like a COVID vaccination. Because we may be all right now, but we don't know what is happening tomorrow, in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year. Not be all right. Okay, I thought that was a nice thing to share. Then another point, we have to be, and Srila Prabhupada stressed that in the early verses of Bhagavatam, we have to be really careful to hear the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the right source. Very important. Srila Prabhupada stressed it over and over again. So that is important, because some misconceptions otherwise coming in, otherwise Srila Prabhupada wouldn't stress it that much. So Ben, last session, you posted a link of the Mahabharata, and there was just pulled from the internet. And there was a depiction of, or description of Parashara Muni, father of Vyasadeva. And they depicted it, whoever that they are, said Parashara Muni. I read it after we finished here. So they depicted Parashara Muni as he was overcome by passion, by lusty desire, so to speak. And then he conceived a child with Satyavati in the middle of the river, which was then Vyasadeva was born out of that union. So when we get something from the internet, the factual thing might be right. Yes, Parashara Muni and Satyavati and that union was a child, Vyasadeva. That may be right, but people don't stop there. So interpreting, well, he must have been overcome by passion or lusty desires when he saw Satyavati and so on. So that is their own interpretation. So I heard a long time ago a very different version, that Parashara Muni, who was a very great sage, and these sages usually, they can control their sexual desires. They may not be able to control their anger, like Durvasa and others, but in controlling their passions, that is much easier than the anger. So I heard that Parashara Muni, he knew very well that the Lord would want to come as Vyasadeva to establish, to write down, distribute the Vedas. Today in the verse we're hearing, how he has divided the Vedas in 4 and then they were subdivided. And. So he knew the Lord wanted to incarnate as Vyasadeva, and the time was right, the place was right, and Satyavati, who has been actually a celestial lady before she got born and became the child of the fisherman. Satyavati is the mother of Ambalika, who are the mothers of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So that's all interconnected. So that's a very different story than Parasara Muni is overcome by lusty desires. That he knew the Lord wanted to incarnate at that particular time and to these circumstances, and in the proper person was Satyavati. So we have to be, therefore, I'm saying that we have to be very careful not only what we read. There's so many sources out there, Mahabharata particular, so many. The best policy is to, whatever we hear from other sources, to confirm that always with what we have heard from Srila Prabhupada, from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and so on. Confirms that. The factual circumstances may be right, but interpretation of why. Because if someone is not a devotee and he hears a story of Parasara Muni is ferried by boat, which Satyavati, she was ferrying, she was a fisherman's daughter, she was ferrying people over the Jamuna, and she was very beautiful. So then immediately someone who is not a devotee comes to the conclusion, oh, he was overcome by passion, alone with her on the river, in the boat, and so on. So again, we have to be careful where we hear from, and we have to be not just too quick what we're posting, because the internet is a big place. The internet can be very helpful, but we have to check, cross-check what we're getting from the internet. It might be okay. Therefore, last time, even I specially selected that story with Shuka's parrot. I don't know where that story is coming from, but I had two sources, Radha Krishna Das Prabhu, which is a devotee, and he has on his webpage, he has a little bit of a logo, a banner, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So that was obviously a good source. And the other story which I actually read was from ISKCON Desire Tree. It was meant for children, and I wish I would have read the other story. It was a little bit more from Radha Krishna Prabhu, a little bit more elaborate. But anyway, that's what it was. Basically, same story in basic. So these are not necessarily 100% sources, but these are better sources than anything else, because these are both devotees or meant for devotees, ISKCON Desire Tree. So I just wanted to mention that. So we should be careful. So what else? Yes, last time I wasn't quite sure. Ambika, Ambalika, who is who? But I read that up. Ambika, the three princesses which have been brought by Bhishma from the Kashi kingdom. So, yes, Amba, she became Shikandi. And so Ambika and Ambalika, as just before explained, Ambika is the mother of Dhritarashtra. And she closed her eyes when Vyasadeva came. And Ambalika, she is the mother of Pandu. And Ambalika sent for her maidservants the second time Vyasadeva came, and that is Vidura. So why why did I 2 sessions ago explained all, or was it last session, this whole story? Because it's interconnected. And it goes further back. The furthest back we went to the fisherman's daughter, Satyavati, and we went even further back to Parasara Muni. But it goes even further back. We don't get into that, but it goes actually back to Ikshvaku, which we know from Bhagavad Gita. Ikshvaku, and it goes back to Manu. So these are all histories. So they are all very factual. It goes back. So why is it important? Because we going forward, once that story is clear, and then we are at Dhritarashtra and Pandus, and the whole Bhagavad Gita is there, the whole Kurukshetra, the whole Mahabharata. And then after the Mahabharata war, then we have Parikshit, the only heir, the Pandavas. Then Parikshit is then on the bank of the Ganges, and with Shukadev Goswami. So then it all connects. And it goes even further. Said Uttara, mother of Parikshit, then she, before was a little bit of space left in between hearing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from Shukadev Goswami and him getting bitten by the snake bird. In that space, Uttara said, now you have heard all the Bhagavatam. And it sounds like she was not present there. They were all sages. Now you have heard all the Bhagavatam, and now in a short time, you're going to leave her. Can you please explain the Bhagavatam to me? Then Parikshit spoke the Bhagavatam to her, to Uttara, his mother, and that is called, is a whole thing again, that's called Brihad Bhagavatam Vitam. And that is the nectar of the nectar, so to speak. So you see, that's all is connected. So we are at the moment at the connection of Vyasadeva dividing the Vedas and so on. Any questions or comments to that? Our verse for today is 1:4:22. It's in the chat. 1:4:22. And I would like to ask Ben Prabhuji, can you recite that verse? It's a very short purport, probably we take a verses at least. Are you happy to tackle 1:4:22?
Haribol, can you hear me okay?
Yes, very well. The microphone is all yours.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atarvanga Vangirasam Asit Samantur Durano Muni Itihasa Puranam Pita Mi Romaharsana. Translation. The Sammutu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda, and my father, Ramaharsana, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records, purport by His Divine Grace. The Shruti mantras also, it is stated that Angira Muni, who strictly followed the rigid principles of the Atharva Veda, was the leader of the followers of the Atharva Vedas.
A very short purport. Rashmi, tell us again, what is a Shruti? What are the Shrutis? Because here it says a Shruti mantras. What is Shruti?
I will again get it wrong. I think Shruti mantras are all the Vedas, no?
All the Vedas, the four Vedas. That's it, nothing more. Rest is Smriti.
So Shruti mantra, Shruti is all the Vedas. So Bhagavad Gita is Shruti.
No, that's all Smriti because it's part of Bhagavatam. Shruti means the four Vedas.
Smriti is
Atharva,
everything.
Yajur, the four Vedas. Right? Nothing more. That is Shruti. Everything else is Smriti. Ihasas, histories, all Smriti. Okay. Brahmaharshana is mentioned here, the father of Sutta Goswami, and we hear a little bit more about him later on. Anything else needs to be said to that verse, Ben?
What is the Atharva Veda?
Good question. What is the Atharva Veda? So, Rig Veda is, they're all, maybe I don't have it right now here. There are hymns. Atharva Veda, here we hear a little bit rigid principles of Atharva Veda. I can find out is in between today or probably for next time. What is a Rig, what is a Atharva, what's a Yajur and the Sama? What kind of content they actually have. I'll make a note, mental note, written note, and we'll get some answers. Right now, I can't tell you. I only know one prayer of the Rig Veda is a Purusha Shukta. It comes from the Rig Veda. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasrapat and so on. This is a prayer which the demigods along with Brahma chant on the shore of the Milk Ocean. The Garbhodakasha Vishnu lies, I cannot see him, Shveta Dvipa, but when they need any help from the Lord, that is a standard prayer they are reciting from the Rig Veda. So, but the others I'll have to find out. Anything else to that verse? Then, if not, just take the next one as well, 23.
Okay, text 23. Ta etarisayo vedam swam swam vayasyan enekada chishyai rasishyayesh tak chishyer vedaste sakino bhavan. Translation. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great-grand disciples. And thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. Report by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original of the Vedas. They have simply been developed into different branches. They were originally rendered by great, respectable, and learned professors. In other words, the Vedic knowledge, broken into different branches by different disciplic successions, has been distributed all over the world. No one, therefore, can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas. We seem to have a guest who's got his microphone on.
You scared him. Hare Krishna. Okay, can you say a few words about it?
Well, I mean, really just what Prabhupada's saying, that the source of knowledge, of all knowledge, is the Vedas, the original source. Whether it's material or spiritual, it's all contained within the Vedas.
Yeah. That is quite, because here it says either mundane or transcendental. So we should not think. Sometimes we may be tempted to think the Vedas are all transcendental knowledge. No, it's not. They are containing also mundane knowledge. There is maybe there's one Veda which deals with military art. I'll find out next time if that is Atharva or whatever it is. So they're dealing with all kind of with mundane knowledge and transcendental. But the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam has no mundane knowledge, only transcendental knowledge. So these Vedas were divided and given to disciples and grand disciples and so on. That same thing happens today also. Vedic knowledge, or we're saying knowledge in pursuance of the Vedic version. So whatever Srila Prabhupada spoke, that is also Veda. You shouldn't think like the Vedic scholars who only accept the four Vedas as Vedic knowledge. No, it's getting expanded to disciples, to grand disciples, and so on. So is devotees who are authorized to writing, like we have these memories of Srila Prabhupada, they're writing about Srila Prabhupada. That is also Veda. In that way, but of course it's only Veda, Vedic knowledge, if it's truthful to the previous acharyas, if it's in the parampara. If someone writes any speculative story about Srila Prabhupada or Krishna consciousness, that is not Veda. If someone stays truthfully, it just expands it, not speculative, has to be Siddhanta, so the conclusion. We say Siddhanta's the original meaning, that has to be there. But of course, according to time, place, and circumstances, we may explain it to a different audience, and in 50 years, in even 10 years, how we present Krishna consciousness may be different. But we be truthful to Acharya, we be truthful to Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Any questions on that? Important point, that whatever is expanded, that's also Veda. All Srila Prabhupada's classes is Bhagavatam purpose, that is Vedic knowledge. Okay, so let's move on to text 24. Who's next in line? Rashmi Mataji, you want to tackle text 24? I have to say I'm quite disappointed. I have here in front of me the Veda base, and that there are slides, not as much as Bhagavad Gita from the Srila Prabhupada's original version and the later 5,000 edited version, but there are slight differences. So I did not know that touched Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as well and made edits and moved sentence around and things like that unnecessarily, but slight, not big. So Rashmi, 24. Microphone is
I'm
on
reading
you.
from the book. So
Yes,
not from
I mean,
Veda.
who knows how many? I have a Veda base, then what is online, what everybody's reading, that is a Veda base, and there might be so many different versions there. Slight. Okay, microphone is all yours.
Text 24. Ta eva Veda durmedhair daryante puruseryata Evam chakara Bhagavan Vyasa Kripana Vatsalaha. Translation. Thus the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. The Veda is one, and the reasons for its division in many parts are explained herewith. The seed of all knowledge, or the Vedas, is not subject matter which can easily be understood by any ordinary man. There is a stricture that no one should try to learn the Vedas who is not a qualified Brahman. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. A class of men who claim Brahminical qualification simply by their birthright in the family of a Brahman claim that the study of the Vedas is a monopoly of the Brahman caste only. Another section of the people take this as an injustice to members of other castes who do not happen to take birth in a Brahman family. But both of them are misguided. The Vedas are subjects which had to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness. Persons who are in the mode of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The ultimate goal of Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna, personality of Godhead. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Satyug, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. Gradually, the mode of goodness declined during the Treta and Dwapar Yuga, and the general mass of people became corrupt. In the present age, mode of goodness is almost nil. And so far, the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, and so for the general mass of people, kind-hearted, powerful sage, Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by less intelligent persons in a mode of passion and ignorance. It is explained in the next shloka as follows.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting, right? Can you say a few words?
So Vyasadeva, the original Ved was one, and then Srila Vyasadeva, he divided it into four for better understanding. And because to understand spiritual knowledge, such high knowledge, especially the knowledge about Sri Krishna, you have to be at minimum in the mode of goodness and or higher. Mode of passion and ignorance, you cannot understand this sort of pure knowledge. So, and he knew that gradually, he's also an incarnation of Krishna. So he can see the future, that the age of Kali Yuga will come, and then people like us will be there who are, where the dominant mode is mode of passion and ignorance, very minimal mode of goodness is there. So he divided it into four, so that even us, we people could be benefited.
Yes, thank you. Very nice summary. He divided it even further. He wrote Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, he wrote Mahabharata. And Mahabharata is much more easily understood because it's just a story, right? History, but it's in a story form. We compare Mahabharata with Vedanta Sutra. That is on two different ends. Vedanta Sutra is very condensed aphorisms, which is very difficult to understand. So, but Mahabharata, everybody can understand. So Vyasadeva, in his compassion, he just like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was really thinking how he could present Krishna consciousness for the Western world and for the Western people. If you just take, and he made adjustments. As a Acharya, he can make adjustments. Because if he would have just taken the system from India and presented it here in the West as it is, it would have been very difficult. First of all, the standard in the Gaudiya Math in India, the standard is chanting 64 rounds. But you could see, the Westerners who are so much in the mode of passion, they cannot chant 64 rounds. What to speak of even 16 is very, very hard. Because we are so passionate. We want to do things. So Srila Prabhupada created so many wonderful services, from cooking to deity worship to life membership to Sankirtan to Harinam to festivals, and so many services in order to engage our passions in Krishna's service. Because we cannot just sit 8 hours and chant Hare Krishna. But in India, at least at that time or even today, people chant, sit down, chant 8 hours. And without feeling the urge, I now have to do something, because that is doing something, doing. That is a mode of passion. Rajagun. So Vyasadeva, he knew that. He has made adjustments. Rashmi, I have a question for you. Here, Srila Prabhupada says, a class of men who claim Brahminical qualifications simply by their birthright. So, what Bhagavad Gita verse comes to mind?
I cannot say, Prabhuji. I don't know so well.
You should know. Ben, do you know? Famous verse. We have spoken about it many times. When it comes to birthright and not qualifications of Brahminical qualifications or by birth, there's only one verse in Bhagavad Gita. And any? Or Vaishana maybe?
Is it the humble sage by virtue of...
No. You said that there's not. That is also nice. This is with equal knowledge. But there is a particular verse relating to the 4 classes which Krishna has created. Any? What about you, Samir?
Prabhuji, does it have the word Chatur Varnam?
Ah, exactly. The Hindi comes in handy. So, okay, Chaturvanyam. What's that? Bhagavad Gita 4:13. And find it. Rashmi, you know anything more? Chaturvarnyam?
No, I just remembered Chatur Varnam. I must have recently read that.
That's how the verse starts, yes. And you found it? 4:13, Chaturvarnyam.
Is it the 4 categories of occupation were created by me?
Yes. You know more?
Were created by me according to people's qualities and activities.
Yes, according to the modes of material nature, yes. And also, I am the creator of this system. You should know I am not yet. I am yet the
non-doer.
Non-doer, being unchangeable. Yes, so the 4 divisions are according to the 4 qualities of the material nature. Which division is associated with which qualities, Samir?
The Brahmans.
Yeah.
The Brahmans are...
Which mode?
Huh?
Which mode of nature is associated with the Brahmins?
The mode of goodness.
Yes. What about the Kshatriyas?
Mode of passion.
What the Vaishyas?
Vaishyas are they also a mode of passion?
Mixed. Passion and ignorance.
Yeah.
And the Shudras, obviously, they are Tamagun, the mode of passion.
Yeah.
So, again, that's a very, very important verse. Because Krishna says, this was created by me. Bhagavad Gita 4:13, yes. And it's according to the 4 modes of material nature. Just like the Vedas have been also in order to suit people in the lower modes of material nature. Okay, is there anything else what could be said? Any questions or any comments? Interesting, Srila Prabhupada said they're both wrong. Okay, here's Samir has his hand up.
I've got a question in relation to this.
Yes, okay. First you and then Samir.
In this verse, it says the four divisions were created. It says the four divisions, according to the three modes of material nature, the four divisions of human society were created by me. So, I mean, how does this work? Because if it's not by birthright, which Prabhupada was making the point in that previous purport, how do people come to know what is their nature and what is the work that suits them? So how do the people come to know this? I mean, if it's not by birth, then you have to explain then what is it by. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, good question. You asked that before, and that was answered before. If you look at the text, it says guna karma vibhagashaha. Guna karma, according to guna and karma. So one must be in a particular mode of nature. Like one claims to be a Brahmin, he must be, as Rashmi said, he must be in sattva gun, in the mode of goodness. Not only guna and karma, he must also act accordingly as a Brahmin acts. It's not good that he is in the mode of goodness, but he's acting like a kshatriya. There are very few instances of personalities doing actually that. For instance, Dronacharya, who is a Brahmin actually, but he is a military guru even of the Pandavas and Kauravas, so he is fighting. So some few great personalities are in a particular mode, but they're acting according to a different mode. But generally, we or anybody must be in a particular mode and act according to that mode. So, to your question, how do we find out? That is, we have explained that before, that is the duty of the parents, guru, guardians, and so on, to find out what is the tendency of the child, even as a young age. And when we explained that before, that we have these samskaras, usually done with the first grain eating ceremony, where the child also is presented in one corner. There is the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and on the other side are coins, money, gold coins, whatever. And then the baby who can crawl by that time, okay, go. Where is he going for? Is he going for the money? Is he going for the Bhagavatam? That has been done even with Lord Chaitanya. That's samskara. So this gives indications what is the guna, and the parents will know, along with other authorities, will be able to find out what is a mode of nature, and then according to that mode of nature, one should also be engaged in a practical way. Of course, that is not happening today, and Rashmi, I remember very well, when we discussed that, she spoke about that. That's not happening today, because it's all how much money a job gives, not according to one's nature.
Prabhuji, in the class just this morning, I heard that all these four modes, not four modes, the four Brahman, Shudra, Vaishya, they are all topsy-turvy now, because what is happening is the Brahmans were supposed to do, like for example, to make Mother Earth happy so she can give abundance of grain, food grain. The Brahmans were supposed to do certain yagyas. But now, in Kali Yuga, nobody is calling the Brahman to do yagya. Forget for rain and all that. Even for small things like the Brahmins, if you see in Bhagavatam and all that, even when Krishna was born, the Brahmins came and they chanted some mantra. During all sorts of important points of the life, there are Brahmins are chanting mantras and doing certain yagyas. But the Brahmins are not called now to any householder's home to do these yagyas. And even if they are called, the amount of dakshina, the amount of what shall I say, gift is given to them is not enough for them to sustain themselves. So these brahmanas, though they may be in the mode of goodness and they are trying to practice that, they are not able to do that. So they have to behave like a Shudra. So
Yes.
everybody is basically behaving like a Shudra now.
Yes, because they may have the Brahminical qualities, but they're selling their labor just like a shooter. A Brahmin is not selling his labor. A Brahmin is totally independent. A Brahmin is not under anybody else. And you are right, they're behaving like Shudra. And there is a statement in Bhagavatam, Kalau Shudra Sambhavan. In this age of Kali, everybody is a Shudra. So there is Ben and Samir wanted to say something.
Well, I'll let Samir go first because he was waiting.
Yes, he was waiting for a long time. Samir.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everybody. I was just going to say your voice is going in and out, but I think
My voice is going in and out.
Yeah, it's resolved itself a little bit.
What about now? That should be better now.
No, that's actually made it worse.
That's worse now?
Mm.
Oh no. Or is it only with
Yeah.
you? Anybody else has said as well?
That's better now.
I mean, I can only say for myself that your voice has been okay with me.
Okay, so it may be just on your side.
No, it's definitely you going in and out.
I'm
it's
definitely
cut.
going in and out. And that is not better now? In and out? That, how does that feel
Well,
now? Is that
you're clear now, but a little while ago, as Samir was speaking,
Right.
the voice was fading again.
okay? So that's the best on my side I can do. How does that sound now?
Well, at the moment, I can hear you well.
Okay, so tell me if it's again in and out. Is that all, Samir, you wanted to say?
No, then I was going to make a point on what we're talking about here, of the sudras. And in the Bhagavatam, it does say the majority of people are sudras in this age. But if we just take to the Maha Mantra and take to chanting and just do our occupational duty, so then everything will be okay. Because in this age, the Maha Mantra is recommended, as we all know. So we shouldn't get too tied up on what's going on. But if we keep chanting, then things automatically will fall into place for us, and we have to do our duty. So whatever we're doing for work, we have to carry on doing that now, because obviously for most of us here on this group, it's too late anyway to start changing our occupation. So whatever we're doing, we just carry on, but don't let go of the Maha Mantra. Just keep chanting.
Yes, absolutely. Devotees don't fall into that system. A devotee can do any occupation, right? Devotees don't fall into that system of varnashram. That is for the general mass of people that may be helpful to make some connection and as a starting point. As we mentioned before, when Lord Chaitanya spoke with Ramananda Roy, he spoke, the first thing, he asked him what is beneficial for the people in general. So Ramananda Roy started, that is the Varnashram system. People follow the Varnashram system. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, that's correct, but go higher, go further. So that may be a starting point. There is, I don't know if you have heard the term Devi Varnashram. That's a different, not the ordinary Varnashram system, Devi Varnashram system, which a devotee can do anything for Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada showed the devotees how to sweep the floor, so he has suddenly become a Shudra because he's engaged in Shudra activity? No, of course not. A devotee can be engaged in any engagement. And he may have a particular job, and just like you said, Samir, you got a particular education and you got a particular job. It's not just suddenly we change. We just chant Hare Krishna and depending on Krishna. Samir.
Yeah, that's very nice, Prabhu. And also, I was listening to a class. I don't know if anybody knows her, but she's so good as well. Her name is Devi Chitralekha.
Chitralekha?
Chitralekha, that's it. Oh my God, she's amazing. And she was crying. And she was rehearsing the prayers, and she said, Lord, she goes, I don't know where I've been. I must have been an ant. I must have been some kind of elephant or this or that. But, you brought me to this human form. Eventually, you brought me here to this human form. And she had tears running down her eyes. And she said, please, how fortunate I am to come to the human form of life. But please don't let me go now, because, I've been so many different places and done so many different things. I cannot remember them. She goes, I cannot remember. But, I've come across your name now, and I don't want to let go of this. Please don't let me let go of this name of yours. And
yes.
It was so beautiful that, it touches the heart that we've all come across the name of the Lord here now. In this group, everybody obviously has come across the name of the Lord, and we cannot let it go. We should never let it go.
That's beautiful, and that should be our prayer to Krishna. Krishna, please don't let me go. Don't push me away. Don't let me go away. Even if I want to go away, I'm here now, and I'm somewhere, somehow, a bit attached to your lotus feet. Please keep hold of me, because this human form of life is so very rare. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu, out of many thousands of men. And out of those thousands, hardly anyone knows me. So, yes, it is very rare, but it's so easy to forget that we have this human form of life. We have this opportunity. We have this opportunity and this great gift of studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam here. I mean, that's absolutely wonderful. And being here in the association of wonderful devotees. And just 40 years back, the pure devotee has walked this planet. And just 500 years back, Lord Chaitanya has been here, the Lord himself. And just 5,000 years back, last time we heard that Lord Krishna is only coming in Dvapara Yuga in the 28th cycle out of 1,000 cycles in one day of Brahma. Now, how rare is that? How rare is that? And also, we have been hearing that there is a Bhagavat Parampara. So pure devotee. There are the Paramparas. Parampara is not necessarily one. Parampara is from disciple to spiritual master disciple to his disciple. That's one parampara, but there is also a Bhagavat parampara. A parampara, a disciplic succession of just pure devotees. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, has established or has written about that, the Bhagavat parampara. And Srila Prabhupada is number 32 in that Bhagavat parampara from the time of Lord Brahma. Now, how long has been Lord Brahma take his birth on the lotus flower? And so it is very, very rare. Even this Bhagavat parampara of pure devotees is very, very rare. So that is just so we can appreciate how fortunate we are. We're reading here the books of the pure devotee. And Krishna has done, we have spoken about that many times, Krishna has dictated every single word. So how did we get into this position? It's just absolutely amazing. Samir.
Yeah, sorry, dear devotees. I'm just not trying to hog the mic or anything, but I just remembered something as well, which was I wanted to share as well. That, you know, also what we're putting into our consciousness as well is very important, because, you know, on a daily basis we have choices, and if we put in rubbish into our mind, then those impressions will be there. It's like, you know, we're not going to eat rubbish. We won't put it into our mouth. So we shouldn't put it into the mind as well, into our mind's impressions. So we have to be very conscious of what we're doing at all times. So even if we're listening to something, if we're watching something, if we're talking, if we're speaking, you know, we need to be careful what we're saying, what we're listening to, because these can leave impressions, and these can take us away as well. As long as we center everything around the Lord, then, you know, I think we start to purify ourselves a lot quicker than, you know, if we're putting bad stuff into our consciousness. So let's just try and be conscious of what we're doing every second of the day. Of course, we all have to work, and that's different. But when we're not working, you know, for our recreational activities, if we can read and chant and, you know, not do things that we shouldn't be doing, talking bad about someone, or even listening to something which is not favorable, and all these things really can help us advance into, you know, a purer state and become Krishna conscious a lot quicker, you know, and just help us on our spiritual path.
Thank you. Yes, not only these things can leave impressions, these things do leave impressions, for sure, and 100%. One can make this experiment oneself. You get up the first thing in the morning and you're reading some mundane stuff and a novel or mundane news or this or that, and your consciousness throughout the day will be very different. But if you get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, you start chanting Hare Krishna, you read a bit of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and so on, you get absorbed on the transcendental side. Immediately, your consciousness throughout the day will be also very different. So, yes, whatever we're putting in. And while we're working Krishna consciousness. While we recreate in Krishna consciousness. Recreation is also needed. A yogi, Srila Prabhupada says in that purport, it's a long time we spoke about that in the temple, a yogi does not eat too much, not too little, does not sleep too much, not too little, and is in his habits. And then Srila Prabhupada mentioned recreation. Sometimes we think recreation means just let's watch a movie. No, there is Krishna conscious recreation. Right now, that's recreation for reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, discussing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It's not hard work, it's recreation. Vaishana Mataji, your microphone is on. You want to say something?
Yes, I did, yes. It was about the occupation. This reminds me of one verse, but I don't really know it, but I can just roughly tell you it was about Lord Krishna. The verse is saying that even with the occupation, it is best to do one's own duty rather than trying to do somebody else's duty, isn't it?
That's a verse, yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So, and again, like Samir said, the other verse is when Krishna is talking to Arjuna, saying, how does one walk? How does one talk? How does one behave as a Krishna consciousness?
That's another verse, very important verse, yes.
Yeah, so there's two verses that came to mind immediately while he was talking.
Fantastic. If we could find out what these verses are, that would be great. Ben, there is something for you. How does he walk? How does he talk? That is Arjuna's question to Krishna. A transcendentalist, how does he walk? How does he talk? Anyway, we will find that out. Both verses, that's something to do. Yes, we don't, as devotees, or let's say devotees don't are too much concerned about Varnashram Dharma. As said before, certainly not pure devotees. About Varnashram Dharma, what is our occupation, this and that. For that reason, Samir said these impressions in the mind, that it is very, very important. All these things making impressions in the mind. That's why Krishna says, Manmana bhava mat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskru twice. Always think of me. So if we're just thinking, okay, now let me relax. Let's see what's on the teller. And then thinking about Krishna is out of the window. That is our problem. We are so easily attracted. It's all going by attraction. We are attracted by the teller, by this, by that, by so many things. But if we, and our intelligence tells us, takes the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, takes the Mahabharata, takes the Bhagavad Gita, takes the Brihad-Bhagavatamritam, takes the Chaitanya Bhagavata, whatever. And there is enough literature for a lifetime. Once we take it, then that same attraction, what we had 5 minutes ago for relaxing and TV, that same attraction is there, even more attraction. But the mind is just so stubborn. It is so accustomed to be attracted to some mundane stuff. And that will leave impressions, of course, it does. So anyone comes up with these two verses, what Vaishana Mataji mentioned?
I got one of them.
Which one?
The 254. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk?
Yeah, that's a verse. What's Krishna saying?
Prabhupada is saying, as there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is in Krishna consciousness has this particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a diseased man as his symptoms known as is diseased, or as a learned man as his symptoms. So a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly, a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of Krishna conscious men is that he speaks only of
Krishna
and of matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow, as stated below.
Beautiful.
Then Krishna then just speaks. I'll just read that very quickly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness.
Hare Krishna, that is enough. Yes, that is quite clear. And very significant on that. These desires for sense gratification come from mental concoction. That's where they're coming from. Rashmi.
Prabhuji, it is unrelated, but it's already 8:15, so I thought I'll ask this question. It has bothered me all day today after I watched the news yesterday at 10 o'clock. So I was watching all this in Royal London Hospital somewhere, all these people dying and everything. So I was just thinking, so all these people, this coronavirus, all these souls, all these bodies are dying. So what are we achieving? These souls are then going to be born again anyway. So we have not achieved anything, and they will go, when these souls will leave those bodies, they will go with the same sanskars, they will go with the same desires and everything and take birth again. So,
absolutely.
So Krishna, what has Krishna achieved by killing all these bodies? So good bodies, some good bodies, of course, they have gone back to him maybe. But all the other bodies, what has Krishna achieved by killing all these people?
Krishna's not killing.
No, whatever. I'm just telling you as it is. So don't go by the actual words which I'm saying. I'm trying to find this question. If everybody was, there's so much badness in this world. So there's just time that Krishna just finished off everything and we start fresh. But these people are all going to be born again. So what, we have not achieved anything. These people who were meat eating, killing other animals and killing and eating and whatever they were doing, they are all going to be born again. Again they will kill, again they will eat, again. So what have we achieved? I really cannot get that answer.
Well, they get another chance. And next lifetime, they get another chance. If a little bit with good fortune, they're meeting a devotee who gives them transcendental knowledge. Samir.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that little last part that you said, Prabhu, as well. That Rashmi is asking, what have we achieved? But what it is, it's our karma. First of all, that we had to leave through the virus, and the COVID took us away. The second thing is, as you said, Prabhu, that, in the next life, hopefully, they might even come across a devotee and maybe get a book or have some prasadam or hear some kirtan on the streets or something. Or even, not just on the Krishna side, maybe other religions as well. And then
yes.
Then move up higher. But this kind of thing to us, we're thinking of it as a material thing, that what did we achieve by it? What is God achieving? But this is all written because of what we've done in our previous lives and also in this life, that this is how we are supposed to live. And of course our intelligence and the consciousness goes with us. But if they have done some kind of pious activities in this life, then by good fortune in their next life, starting afresh, because some of them are older anyway, and sometimes God, these bodies are very set in their ways. So when they start with a new body and a younger body, and they might learn something new, and it's very difficult to teach somebody who's old new tricks. In English, it's very difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. So, the Leelas of Krishna are very complicated to understand, because we're still on that material platform and the mundane platform. So his activities, whatever he's doing, are very hard to understand on our platform. The example is like when Arjuna wanted to see Krishna, and then Krishna gives him the divine eyes to see him. And the more we advance in our spiritual life, the more we actually understand what's actually happening on this material platform. But at the moment we cannot understand. But the karma is there. Everybody knows about karma and what you do. So if you are just eating meat and all of this, like Prabhuji said last time as well, that all the animals that we've ate and all those sins we've committed by doing that, it's come full round circle, and now the animals, they say that it started with a bat or whatever. We don't know where it started, but what comes around goes around, and you have to pay for the sins unless you are on the platform, on the transcendental platform. So I hope this answers it a little bit for you.
Yes, thank you. And Rashmi, it's a wrong question. You said, what has Krishna achieved? It almost sounds like we are blaming Krishna. I said, so the COVID is around and all of that. We cannot blame Krishna. What have the people achieved? Because, we came voluntarily in this material world. We know very well it's a Mrityu Loka. It's a world of birth and death, sooner or later. But we cannot just also judge from the outside. How do we know that person has COVID, he's in the hospital, he's on the ventilator, and he knows he may not walk out the front door? How do we know that person, even silently within himself, he says, please, God, save me? Even just that. Please, God, save me. Many people, at a critical time, they think like that. Please, my Lord, save me. Even they're atheists. Even they're not religious. But when it comes to the crunch point, oh God, save me. That little thought in the next lifetime, that will jump them up the queue in a big way. So, from outside looking in, it's difficult to understand. I know Samir said, these things are very complicated. Just at the moment, the karma is just catching up with so many people. It's the same like Second World War, or war in the future. Third World War will also come. Third World War will also come. Hopefully not in our lifetime, but perhaps yes. It can be just around the corner. Who knows? Who knows? It's a nuclear war, anything. Srila Prabhupada said, these nuclear missiles, these nuclear bombs have been invented, they will be used. So how many people disappear, changing body in a nuclear war, or in a conventional war, or in the Second World War? More than the pandemic so far. And how many people changed body in when the Spanish flu was around? So these things, karma is just, it's not surprising. We have really, as a civilization, as a population, with all these sinful activities which are going on, is it of any surprise that so much karma has been built up? So many millions and billions of animals are slaughtered on the assembly line. Is it of any surprise that at one point the karma becomes ripe? It may have just not been ripe enough, but at one point there's a tipping point, just with the climate. You're just pumping for 200, 300 years, you're pumping so much burning fossil fuels. At one point there's a tipping point. So the ice will melt in the Arctic. It's already melting. At one point that is melting in such a way that ocean levels will rise and the climate will completely get messed up and not just hotter. Storms, the jet stream is changing, the Arctic air is pushing down, and so many things. It's not surprising at all. Okay, we spent a long time on this verse. Anything else on that verse? It's Wednesday. I would like to stop here. These are all very interesting things to talk about. There's no question about. And we may have not made any great advancement in the verses, but it needs to be talked about. And those who contributed obviously also felt the need to say something, which is great. Thank you for all the comments and contributions. Now I would like to ask Ben of doing a little bit of Kirtan, if that is possible. Our end Kirtan. Vaishnava, you want to say something?
Sorry, I was going to interrupt again. Sorry.
You touched the button.
I was just thinking, can we just
do you have a hand raising button?
I can't find. I only have the heart. I don't know of any other buttons.
It's a hand. It's just a hand. You don't have that. Maybe you need to update your Skype.
Yes, I was just going to say, can we have a quick Hare Krishna if Ben Prabhu can sing for Rashmi Prabhu's birthday, please?
Oh yes. Okay. Can we try that together? It will be a mess, but let's unmute all our microphones. It will be a bit of a jumble mumble, but it will be something. Okay? Ready? Yes. Microphone unmuted and Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to Rashmi Mataji, Hare Krishna to you. May you never take birth again. 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 Haribo.
That is quite nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Your cake will be sent in the post.
Hare Krishna.
Cake in the post. Can you send a piece to everybody, please?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Or you send the cake in the post to Rashmi, and then she distributes some little crumbs to others. Okay, Ben. Bit of Kirtan, and then we stop. We are still kind of okay on the time. 5 minutes, not more.
I think I'll send Rishing a prayer.
Yes, and let's keep Jayapataka Swami and all those souls which are in hospital everywhere. Let's pray for them. Look, just see, Rashmi. We're praying for all these souls. So there is some purpose behind all of that. These prayers are not in vain. Definitely not. Microphone is yours.
Namaste Narasihaya Namaste Namaste Narasihaya Pralada Ladayani Pralada Ladayani Hiranyakasipu Laksha Hiranyakasipu Laksha Silatanka Nakalai Silatanka Nakalai Itonisimo Paratonissimo Yatonissimo Paratonissimo Yato Yamitatonissimo Yato Yamitatonissimo Bahenissimo Hridayenissimo Bahenissimo Hridayenissimo Nrisiyamadem Laranam Prapade Nrisiyamadem Laranam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavadi Nakam Adbhuta Swingam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tadalubringam Keshavadrita Nanare Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Kavagara Kamalavari Nakam Adbhuta Singam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Nahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Jai Jagadisha Hari Jayo Nrsingadev 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 Jayo Nrsingadev Jayo Nrsingadev 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 Jaya Nrsingadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Itte Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Itte Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Bhavanidhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Harinam Sankirtan Yogya Krishna Lockdown Hari Hari Bol
Jai Hare Krishna. Let us offer our most respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees and who can fulfill the desires of everyone and who are full of compassion to the fallen and conditioned soul. So much compassion that we prayed for all people in the world just at this very moment that they may find Krishna in the next lifetime or at the end of this lifetime. Again, just one more repeating what the question is not what has Krishna achieved. The question is what have we achieved in our life? What have we achieved? I mean, our life can be finished at any moment. And then the question, and those who hanging on the ventilators are will asking this question, hopefully, what have I achieved in this lifetime? That is a real question. What have we achieved? Have we made any progress, or is it just going around again the same? It's like a carousel. It's like a roller coaster. The roller coaster is there. Krishna has created that roller coaster. But why? Because we wanted to enjoy that roller coaster, right? But it's going up and down and up and down. It is not a very pleasant journey. If once we have come to that conclusion, it's not a very pleasant journey, then there's an impetus. Let me get out of here. Ben.
Would you agree at this time, though, it's quite challenging times for us all?
It's a challenging time, yes.
Yes.
And this is a great opportunity of being a challenging time, is a great opportunity to think. And I'm sure there are loads of people in this challenging time, their parents, their father, their mothers, their children, their friends, their neighbors are suddenly disappearing. So people will ask questions. People are a little bit more introspective instead of just being in this consumer mood day in, day out. So it's a challenging time, and it gives us an opportunity to rise to the challenge, to think. What's the purpose of it all? Why I'm here? What's the goal of life? Someone hanging on the ventilator, he may very well ask this question, even an ordinary person. What have I achieved? But for devotees, it's not really challenging. We're locked in our houses. We'll be chanting Hare Krishna if we're locked in or not locked in. We're having Skype sessions and discussing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam twice a week. And in between, like Rashmi Mataji, she has a double. Every Wednesday, I think, it's a double. There's a Bhagavatam class, and then she has in the evening a class. And these are all beautiful opportunities to make a bit of advancement before our number is called. How do we know? How do we know our number is called? Any moment it could be our number. And then we'll be grateful for every Bhagavatam session we have here. Anything more, Ben?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Anyone? Anything more? Is Food for Life still going on, Vaishana Mataji?
Yes, I will be cooking. In fact, I think it's been the best time of our lives. We've had a full Purushottam Mass, we've had the Kartik month, and we're alone, and it's been fantastic, I think.
When is your Prasadam day?
Saturday,
I thought so.
Yeah.
Rashmi
It is a bit hard
Mataji.
in the winter, but...
Anything else, Rashmi?
I just, Prabhuji, many years ago, on my one birthday, Nandini Mataji gave me a little card.
Yeah.
And I cut it and I stuck it in my kitchen. It's from Adi Puran. I won't read the Sanskrit because everybody will be delayed. O Arjun, listen attentively. When the living entity chants my name, whether out of devotion or indifference, then his name will remain forever in my heart. I will never forget such a soul. That is from Adi Puran.
Isn't that beautiful, huh? Yes, we know that. We know that someone chants Krishna's name, even purposely or not, Krishna. So Krishna remembers that person. As someone does a little bit of service for Krishna, voluntary, involuntary, by accident. Service means also listening. Then Krishna will never forget that person. So
there was a point I wanted to make.
Yes.
Because I feel like I've been lamenting a bit. Because,
have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I realized that maybe if I was going out doing some books,
Flash me your microphone.
Then maybe I could have invited some people to come to the temple and give them some books and stuff. So I was lamenting a bit because regretting things that I didn't do that I could have done, you know.
This lamentation is good because that helps us to progress. Lamentation, oh Krishna, I wish I would have used my time, because once we're thinking like that, then we will improve. We will, okay, I will try harder. Just like that. Okay, here we stop. You can lament. Lament Krishna, I'm separated from you. Hare Krishna, see you on Saturday. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.